All right, welcome everyone. I'm used to clicking a button that says go live, but today I'm clicking a button that says record. And so, welcome everyone. I'm David Tischler. I am a developer advocate at balena, and we're happy to have with us a guest, Mithun, to show off a couple of projects that you can build on balena, hopefully to inspire you during the hackathon. Mithun, do you want to say hello and give a quick introduction?
Absolutely. Hi guys, my name is Mithun Das. I'm a distinguished software engineer at Cox, and I'm basically a hacker and maker. I love tinkering with different hardwares and softwares, and definitely Velina is one of my favorite, along with some others. And I like to talk about, yeah, talk about some of the projects which I recently worked on. Not, I should not say recently, like it started sometimes ago, and then we kind of evolved. We introduced some new features, so it's kind of ongoing thing. And yeah, so that's the quick introduction about
Great.
myself, and
Awesome.
probably we'll talk more about that.
Well, thank you, Mithun. You are a balena ambassador. You are one of the most valued members of our community. You've been, let me see, at least a couple of years now hacking on balena, building containers, pushing projects. Like you said, you've iterated. I think you probably have maybe 5 or 6 or 7 different projects out in the wild that I know of, could be even more. We're going to focus on one or two of them today, depending on how much time we have. So we'll start off with your birdwatcher project, but if there's time, I'm kind of also interested in learning about this dashboard project that you built as well. And the reason for that is because a lot of the developers joining us today for the hackathon are new to the balena community. And we've got a lot of sample projects out there in our repos and on our blogs and produced by our labs team. Some of them are balena Sense, which builds a small environmental sensor from a Raspberry Pi and a Sense Hat or a BME 280 type device. Balena Sound, which is an audio streaming application, and balena Dash, which is a kiosk project. So you hook up an HDMI monitor or TV or big screen or whatever to a Pi, and you can render content onto it in kiosk mode. You've kind of taken that a little bit further and built out a dashboard for a Tesla, which aggregates in data. And so that gets interesting then when you start to think about using a Pi or an NVIDIA Jetson or a balena Fin or whatever type of hardware you have available. But now you're starting to get some telemetry, read some data, render that onto a Grafana dashboard or similar. So, there's a lot of neat things going on there as well. But I think I want to start with that bird watcher. And if I remember correctly, you might actually have one there on your desk. Is that true?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, let
So
me quickly
let's
show that.
let's take a look at that thing first. Okay, I want to get just a quick view of it. Let me zoom in on you. Let's do that. Okay, because obviously I'm going to have you describe it and walk through the build and talk through what you've got there. But I wanted to get a quick peek at what we're discussing here. Um, and I can tell by glancing at that, is that 3D printed? Did you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's 3D printed. Everything is 3D printed, and just little this plastic like that I bought from Amazon, so that you can just put it in. You can see how much food is left, those sort of things. But everything else is 3D printed. And the good thing is that all the 3D design is outsourced. So we have everything in our website. Anyone
Yep.
can download and
Yep.
build,
Yep.
like
So let's
print
get
it. Yeah.
into Yeah, so let's get into this project then. It is all open source, it's all on GitHub. There's some good documentation as well to go through. Obviously, PRs are always welcome. But yeah, if you want to start walking us through what the project is, what it does. I saw, okay, you're holding up a bird feeder, but I don't see any birds. So you'll have to tell me what's going on here, Mithun.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, it started long time back, like I would say at least like a year back.
Okay.
So like myself and Mark were talking about something to do with Selena and camera and all those sort of things, and we came across one nice commercial like Bird Buddy, and that kind
Okay.
of inspired us. Like, okay, like probably we can build something and we can add more feature to that. We can classify birds. Probably we can classify their charts like audio. So we started thinking about that, and then we started using Age Impulse. If you guys are not familiar what Age Impulse is, it's basically a web-based tool where you can train your data and you can build your model and deploy to edge devices very easily. Like you don't need to be a data scientist to do all those things. Like me, like I'm not a data scientist, but
I
I'm
don't know.
just
At this point, I might argue that you are, but
no, honestly, I'm basically a application developer. That's what I see myself. But it was very easy to get along with Edge Impulse website or the entire tool set. And you can build your model, as I said, and you can deploy the model back to your edge devices. They have out-of-the-box support for a lot of devices, including Raspberry Pi as well. So the thing is that the way back when we started,
Mhm.
we used Edge Impulse image classification and audio classification, and we basically used Belina to like create the container. And the beautiful thing about Belina is that it actually manages the feed for you. So for example, like if you are just a beginner and you have a Raspberry Pi, you have a camera, and you want to start a project based on some machine learning like OpenCV, some image recognition. So what do you do? Like you'll first load your image, like a Raspberry Pi image. Then you'll install a bunch of softwares you need
Right,
to,
right.
and then you'll do all like troubleshooting and everything. And at one point of time, you'll have your project up and running, right? And now you show that project to your colleagues or your friends or maybe a friend of your kid, and suddenly they're interested and they want to have one for them. So what you will do? So you will basically go to the same pen again. You will buy a Raspberry
Yeah,
Pi. You install the OS. You install all the softwares. You can imagine all the pain, right?
yeah.
And don't forget the troubleshooting. Like in hardware, like nothing runs at the first time, right? So that's based on my experience. So
Or the
you'll have to
second
do
time
that.
for me.
Yeah. So now, if you are using Belina, you just create your project, you write your Docker Compose, and you have your container. You deploy it, and then you bring another device and go to Belina Cloud, click Add Device, and it will basically download your image. Put that, attach that into your SD card, put it in your Raspberry Pi, and up and running. Like it's so simple, and you will basically avoid all those things like repetitive things again and again. So that's one very beautiful feature of Belina. The other one, which I personally like most, is remote management of the device. So suppose you put your Raspberry Pi somewhere, maybe in friend's house or somewhere. Now you need to update the software, right? Like that's typical process. Like you keep on
Sure.
updating your software. And in old way, without Selena, you basically bring back the Raspberry Pi and then
Yeah.
install the software, right? So
Yeah.
that's the real pain. But using Selena, you can just do that from the command line and push your latest build, and it will be deployed remotely on the device.
Yeah,
So
that is one of the best parts is pushing containers to the devices no matter where they are located. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, I love that that feature. So yeah, so that was the basic background why we chose Belina and why we chose Edge Impulse together. And then initially we started with image classification. Like we created the bot feeder, and it was basically capturing the images like randomly and classifying if there is any bird, and then it used to send alert to your Telegram bot. Then recently, not recently, like few months back, Edge Impulse introduced object detection, like different from image classification. So they have built Linux SDK, which can run on Raspberry Pi, Gibson Nano. We basically adopted that because it has a lot more feature and it can actually detect objects, and you can put the box around like typical way as you see in all other image-based application, right? You put the box, you see the
Yep.
percentage of detection and all those things.
Yep.
So we started using that SDK, and we came up with the new version of Bot Watcher, which we are running right now. It's basically running on Aging Pulse Linux SDK and Belim. Yeah, so that's the little background about that project. And as Dave already mentioned, like it's all open source, and even the Aging Plus project is open source. Like, I mean, it's public, so anyone can actually work from there, and you can put your own images, start training. But the
Yep.
idea is basically encouraging the community to come and make changes, like uh, enhance this project, add more data, and make the machine learning model like much smarter. So that's the goal, and that's a quick introduction about this project.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Let's do this. I've got a couple of pictures of these things in the wild here. I want to. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should say the wild. It's they're urban areas. I mean, one of them is your house, and Mark's got one as well. I need to have you print one for me. I have the guts of one, but not the 3D print yet. So let's take a quick peek. Here I have on screen, of course, is the GitHub repo, and let me bring up real quickly the. Oops, there it goes. That's the repo right there. Or actually, that's the GitHub.io link. That'll take you to the documentation, which will kick you over. From there, you can get to the repo. But let's have a quick look. Let me come back because I want to start by looking at what is inside of it. There's the first iteration. So what do we have right here, Mithun? What was this version?
Okay, so that was our initial version. We started with Velina Film, and
Yep.
the same, and in, you can see like on the top, it has the audio hat because we were using audio classification that time, and the camera. So basically three different parts, within a fin, the hat, and the camera. So that's how we started our initial phase. And then later when we got the 18 plus Linux SDK, we basically tried to deploy on Raspberry Pi 4 because it's a little more powerful
Yep.
than Compute Model 3. And we did not actually introduce audio classification, so that's something we'll do. We started with just the object detection, and this is the new one. You can see we have Raspberry Pi 4,
Yep.
and we have the camera. We also put a little fan because it gets hot, right?
To keep
The
the
Raspberry
birds
Pi.
cool?
Yeah, like you can say that. Yeah. So Uh, right. Yeah. But it's totally optional. Like if you feel
Yeah.
like your pie is not heating up, you can totally ignore that and
Well, well,
just put
I
the pie.
live in Phoenix. I'm coming to you from Phoenix. You are in Connecticut. It is much
Yeah.
cooler where you're located. For me to put one outside, I'm going to need a fan, and it's probably going to need to be bigger than that one. I'm going to have to
I bet.
up. I'll have to upgrade my cooling system.
Yeah, I bet.
But so there it is outside, and I can see the bird seed down in the tray, and we can see the camera hole, of course. Is the pie sitting, I guess, upside down from the picture that we were just looking at. Are those air vents up
Right.
there? Is that where the fan comes in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep, yep. All right. And let's talk a little bit then about getting some actual birds classified, the results. So the software, once it's deployed, once it's onto the Pi, well, you do the balena push, as the attendees are learning about today. Um, and the application is on the Pi. The Pi is running it. How do you then determine what's going on? How do I know what kind of birds are coming by the feeder?
Okay. So two things, right? So first, you need to start with data set because we are talking about machine learning. So
Mm-hmm.
what we did, we collected some images from internet. We identified some of the birds like which are local to me. For example, like nuthatch and chickadee. Those are very common in southeast,
Okay.
uh, yeah, in Connecticut. So we started with that. We uploaded some images in Agent Studio. We trained our model and deployed back to Selenium.
Yep.
And then we started seeing some birds coming, but it was definitely not classifying correctly because I did not have a lot of images. So but the cool thing about this project is that whenever there is any bird, it will try to classify. It will classify wrongly, but you will see that feed in the website, like not website, the app. So when you deploy the bird feeder app, then you will go to birdwatcher.local from your phone or from your laptop, and then you will see all the images are actually captured by the device, and you will see probably okay something is not classified correct. So you have a button to send that image back to your Aging Pulse project. So it's you click on that button and then go back to your Aging Pulse Studio, and you will see that
Got it.
image is actually part of your Aging Pulse data collection, and you label that part with a proper bird name, and then retrain the model. And for the deploy part, it's pretty cool. Like you don't have to bring your device back. All you need to do is basically just restart your device, and Belina will automatically connect to Edge Impulse and download the latest model. So it's basically over there update. So
Yeah, that is incredible. Um, and so the URL running on the device, as long as you're on the same network, is right there. It's birdwatcher.local. Let me pull that up. Simple as that, which is essentially being served up by the Pi itself on your LAN. Um, so you can retrain well, you can do both. You can retrain or add additional pictures into the data set. I mean, it's essentially the end result coming out is the same thing as the better model, the improved model. So you restart your device, it will capture the new and improved model, and hopefully your machine learning has gotten better. But now there's one more feature that we haven't covered yet, which is super cool, which is the notifications
right,
via Telegram. So tell me a little bit about that bonus feature.
yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the coolest feature of this project, right?
Yeah.
So mm, like you put your feeder and you're not keeping eye on the feeder, right? You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
birdwatcher.local and keep seeing. But instead of that, we basically introduce some real-time notification. So, for example, if there is any bird and that's classified by the by age impulse model, and immediately you will get a notification on your phone, like through Telegram app. And if you're not familiar with Telegram, it's one of the apps like like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger,
Yep.
and it's free. I think it's by Microsoft, if I'm not wrong. It's free, and the cool thing is that you can create your own bot and you can communicate. So we created a bot for us, and then we configured in the Felina in our project. everything is documented nicely in the GitHub repo,
Hmm.
how we can create a new bot and all those things.
Yep.
And then we basically configured the bot ID and chat ID. And then as soon as you get any bot comes close to your feeder, then it will
Yep.
capture that and send to you. So that was the initial design, and then we actually moved further. So what we did, we found Telegram has a concept of uh, public and private channels. So that's pretty cool. So initially, what we did is basically a chat with the bot, and that's kind of private to you, only you can see. But now, how cool that would be? Like you put your bot watcher and you send a link. Exactly. So you see, like that bot is actually in my ear, and we created a channel and made it private and shared the link with not everyone. Like at this moment, there are
Right.
5 subscribers, and whoever subscribed to that channel, they can get the feed. So it's not only
Yeah.
just me, everyone else.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that is super cool. So I have the Telegram app on my phone, and I can just watch the birds that come up to your bird feeder. And like you said, it could
Right.
be public, it could be private, but it is so fun to watch birds come up to your
Yeah.
bird feeder. And you can see nuthatch, so these are the type of birds that are in your particular area. Now, down here, I started to train a model. I need more sample data. I got to go get some more pictures um, of a Gila woodpecker. Outside of my front window over here, I have a woodpecker that always comes to this tree that's outside the window. And it took me a while to figure out actually what he was. But once I figured it out, now I got to start getting some pictures of him. So I need to get I don't know if he's going to eat birdseed or not. He's mostly interested in drilling a hole into the tree,
Right.
but
Yeah.
we'll see if he'll take some seed. I don't know. So I
Right.
need to get one right out this window here. And then we have a few other species around. There's not a whole lot of birds in Arizona where I am, but there's a few. So yeah, it's super cool stuff. Dude, that project is really awesome. I know that you mentioned, of course, that it's still a work in progress. It's still evolving. So as attendees at the hackathon today build up their skills, hopefully maybe we see a couple PRs come your way.
Yeah. That
Um,
would be awesome.
yeah, it sure would. All right, I'm looking at the clock. We have a few minutes left. If you want to show off, I don't even know if you have it with you or have anything that you can show regarding the Tesla dashboard. If you
Hmm.
want to just talk through it, that's totally fine as well. If you do have anything, I can see that you are not sitting in your vehicle, so I'm
Yeah.
guessing you
Right.
can't show.
So I can actually show that to you, but it's not actually live. It's not getting any
Well,
real data.
I
But
understand it's
this
not
is,
live because you're not driving.
yeah. So this is what
let
I
me
was after.
let
So
me get you on solo. There you go. Yeah, okay, I can see
yeah,
that. So it's an LCD panel, maybe the size of a tablet, maybe a little bit
yeah,
bigger.
7-inch display,
Okay.
and behind you have Raspberry Pi 4, and it's all the display module, right? And then you
Mm-hmm.
have Raspberry Pi 4, and so that's from the hardware view. And then inside in the software, what I'm using is basically, of course, balena. And then we have something called balena browser. So that's another block, balena
Okay.
block.
Yep.
And the cool thing about that is you can create a kiosk kind of application, like dashboard kind of application,
Mm-hmm.
very easily. So you don't have to write your own block or code. You just add that balena block to your Docker Compose, and then you focus on writing your own application. For example, here I was writing my Tesla dash. so which is connecting to Tesla API and gathering the telemetric data and displaying on here. So the idea actually came like in Tesla, like they had a very nice display, which
Yeah, they have
looks
the
like a
the
big
interface, the
iPad.
LC, yeah, the LCD is in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that, but a lot of people like old-fashioned view, like they want to see the dashboard, like physical
Mm.
dashboard. So I thought, okay, let's try to build something, and probably I can inspire some of the people who are really into that. They can build their own instead of spending a lot of money. Because if you look on Amazon or somewhere like these things are very expensive
I
because
bet. Sure.
very
Yeah.
expensive, and because the demand is not there, right? So it has to be expensive to bear all the costs. But you can actually build up like maybe in less than 150 bucks your dashboard. So
Well, I think the demand is probably low because most people enjoy what is already in the Tesla.
exactly,
The UI, the big screen, it's all right there. They've provided it. Most folks, I would think, just go with that. So yeah, it's probably just a smaller group of individuals then that want to go back to the it's a
right,
more
old fashioned.
traditional
Exactly.
type of a dashboard. So I can see how, yeah, but then if the demand is low, then yeah, that's a costly you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
product. So
So
okay.
yeah, you can build yourself. And but the one thing which I really wanted to point out, I think I already spoke about is that is the browser, Balena block browser. So it's just the Tesla app, but imagine like if you want to build a dashboard, where you will show some environmental data like temperature, humidity, or even you know what, like I'm just telling right now because I have that in my mind. So I like to create one like home surveillance system around my house, and I'm thinking to have this dashboard with like four different views. Like each view will have a view from different camera, and I can put it somewhere so I can actually watch my house.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, those sort of application you can build.
I'm just grabbing the URL now for the Tesla dashboard because I can see that it is in GitHub for folks to. There we go. balena Tesla dashboard. Easy enough. Makes sense to me. All
Yeah,
right.
but
Um,
yeah, this project is totally under under construction, I would say. Like I
that's
started,
okay.
I never finished it. One problem with this one when I started, like I was using Wi-Fi. And again, like one thing, like when you are into Balena ecosystem, you'll know a lot about that. But Balena has lot of blocks. So if you are trying to find something, don't try to write by yourself at very beginning. Try to see if there is any block already created for
Yeah, there's
you
a
and
lot
try to
of.
reuse
Yeah.
a lot. So
Yeah.
probably you'll end up reusing most of the stuff they already created. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Grab. There's a good blog article on how to get started with blocks. Yeah, blocks are great for. You can see the link even says jumpstart your IoT app development. No need to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of basic
exactly.
functionality that we already provide. You can see actually if I bring. Let's bring the screen share back on, introducing balena blocks. So you can kind of see they're just reusable well,
Yeah,
simple as that. Building blocks. You can see Wi-Fi, sound, audio, browsers, um,
exactly.
things to help get the plumbing for your projects going. In the beginning, it is good to learn some of the fundamentals and learning the Docker Compose syntax and the Docker file syntax. So there is value in understanding how some of that works under the hood. But once you've gained those skills and you move into higher level application development, then by all means, don't reinvent the wheel. Just go use straight
Yeah,
from from the blocks.
Right.
All right. Well, is there anything else, Mithun? Are there any other projects? I don't want to put you on the spot. I know you have a whole lot more. You could go check out the repositories list. I see Helium. I see Node.js, smart parking. I see you got a lot going on in here, but I
Yeah.
think that
Check it
those
out.
two, yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Mithun, for taking the time with us today. I definitely appreciate that. And if you have any questions, if the audience, if viewers have any questions, by all means, reach out to us. Come find me. This video is going to be playing inside of the hackathon world. I'll be in there roaming around. So if you happen to have watched this video, have a question, just come and find me. And other than that, it's open source. So, hey,
Yeah.
go ahead and get your PRs in. I think that's it. Anything else from you, Mithun?
No, and good luck and happy hacking.
All right. You heard it. Happy hacking. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.